Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Somehow these losers who go by the name of Russians are building stuff. You know how, what's his name, Truman, the former American president, Harry Truman, said how in the hell those Asiatic people were able to detonate an atomic bomb when they first had the first test. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, those Asiatic people. So yeah, these Asiatic people are still building stuff. I mean, they kept, I guess, stealing technology from the geniuses from the West. Without them, they would be lost in space. With their Sputnik and with their Gagarins and with Leica and all those would be just nothing, man, nothing. And with the space station, they keep stealing somehow. Anyway, what they did here, the Russians again, it seems like they're able to build stuff. They built a frigate and they put hypersonic Zircon missiles on it. It's a new ship. And they send it to pay a visit to some NATO countries. That's, I don't know, beautiful, because the Americans are going to wave at it and other will just going to wait for it in San Francisco and all that. So let's see. I got here a few articles about that. One goes by the title of Putin is sending a warship into the Atlantic armed with new hypersonic cruise missiles. And then it says here that Russia is sending a warship armed with hypersonic missiles on a deployment that will take into the Atlantic Ocean. Putin has boasted that the new Zircon hypersonic missiles is unrivaled. The weapons have been tested several times, most recently last year. Russian leadership announced Wednesday that Russia is sending a warship armed with new hypersonic cruise missiles that Moscow has touted as unstoppable off on a deployment that will take it into the Atlantic. Well, the frigate Admiral Gorshkov will travel on a long-range voyage across the Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean and Mediterranean Sea. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said in a ceremony, according to state-run media outlet TASS. I guess it's not going to go to San Francisco, it's going to go to New York. Or, my bad, the same shit. So this is one article. The other article is from Ukrainska Pravda, but we're going to have Medvedev make a little bit of his little statements, if you know what I mean. And this guy's feisty as a little bullfrog. And this is, as I said, from today, February, not yet, January 5. Putin sends Gorshkov frigate with Zircon missiles to NATO countries, Medvedev said. No shit. So when you have Putin dead and Medvedev comes into place, are things going to be better, you think? Anyway, so you cut one head and you got now two. You cut two, you got four. You got four, you got eight, and so on. The Russian Navy frigate, Admiral frigate. You know what I mean? Yes. Admiral Gorshkov, armed with Zircon hypersonic missiles, starts a trip from the Black Sea to the Atlantic Ocean. Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, said that the ship is going to the NATO countries' shores. Again, the Russians are consistent. They tell you, we're going to bring this under your nose, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Now what? The other guys are going to say, nothing. Okay. Ukrainian Navy on Facebook. Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, on Telegram. Details. According to the Ukrainian Navy, the sending ceremony of frigate Gorshkov was personally led by Vladimir Putin, president of Russia. The cancer-ridden weasel? Is that what it is? Oh, I think it was a double, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. The frigate will perform combat duty in the waters of the Mediterranean Sea, Atlantic and Indian Oceans. During combat service, training use of Zircon hypersonic missiles is planned. So take your binoculars, satellites, and all kind of swimmers to watch it. According to the Ukrainian military, by doing this, the Russian Federation is trying to divert attention from its failures. Now, this paragraph is a whistle paragraph. This is intended for those feeble-minded, that are below 86 IQ, the scared sector of our population, the strata of the population, the ones that you can say boo, and they're like, okay, I do whatever you want. I don't want anything, just follow what I say. That's all. Be a follower. Yes, 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 yes. But just protect us. Yes, we will protect you. It's intended this paragraph. I'm going to read it again. According to the Ukrainian military, by doing this, the Russian Federation is trying to divert attention from its failures in a war with Ukraine, in particular in the Black Sea. All right, we got it? So it's not a successful thing. It's just a proof of weakness. They just build the newest of the newest, and that's just, I don't know, it's not a good thing. It's just they try to, cover their losses. Okay, again, ideology and stupidity gonna, put smoke on these guys' heads, and they will not see the reality. But anyway, this is, as I said, directed to those weasels, not like you and I. Aren't we great? Yes, we are. So, I'm quoting, there are no winds of the Black Sea Fleet, so measures have been taken at the state level to go on a long-distance campaign away from the Black Sea. You idiots, these guys are planning for the future. As Professor Stephen Cohen, the American professor emeritus in Russian studies, who died 2 years ago, I warmly, intellectually recommend that guy to you. That's a guy. He's Jewish. Cohen, Stephen, professor, died. Poor guy. Anyway, he said the difference between American foreign policy and Russian foreign policy is that the Americans are thinking ahead only to the next election cycle. That's their horizon. He said the Russians, their horizon, they're planning for centuries. So this idiot, whoever wrote this and said this, is thinking, yes, they're just going to show off because in the Black Sea they had some drawbacks. They didn't. Okay, that's one interpretation in your little lack of knowledge. But the other guy who died, 80 some years of age, I think it was 78, I can't remember how much Cohen was. Anyway, here, just read just not only read him, is on YouTube many times. He's very intelligent, very knowledgeable, and uses knowledge as it's intended. Okay, that's a right way of thinking. Remember, yeah, that's a wrong way. When you're an idiot and you ignore facts and you don't make logical connections and you ignore this and pick this and you make, he's over there, that means he wants to kill me. Pff, how did you get it? Because I say so. Okay, now that's a wrong way of thinking. Now, and I'm quoting, more details. Dmitry Medvedev in turn said that the shipment took place on January 4, and its purpose is to get closer to NATO countries and to create a threat to the United States in particular. Correct? Correct. Quote, maybe it's not that, it's just to see the Atlantic Ocean. Quote, the main New Year's gift with the ammunition of the Zircon missiles sent to the shores of NATO countries yesterday, their range of 1,000 kilometers with hypersound at Mach 9 and the ability to use any charge with a guarantee to overcome any anti-aircraft defense. Let it stand somewhere 100 miles, which is 160 kilometers, away from the shore, closer to the Potomac River, the river near the U.S. capital. So rejoice, the frigate will be The frigate will bring anyone who poses a direct threat to Russia and our allies to their senses. The Ukrainian Navy reminded that to date, the armed forces of Ukraine have destroyed 16 ships and boats of the Black Sea Fleet of the Russian Federation and damaged several more. Good. Right. Isn't that a war? What do you expect? Yeah. Was that expected like that? Maybe not, but since Ukraine is not Ukraine versus Russia, but it's United States plus another 30 countries against Russia, yeah, I think that was expected. Remember, Russia could not hit NATO countries' boats and ships and submarines and something like that because they're not involved. As I always say, NATO fights Russia right now as a tiger's tamer or trainer in a circus fights them or trains them, or the lions. You know how they use two things. One, a long pole, and on the other hand they have a big whip, and they poke the tiger, which could eat the fucking human, and with this just smack, bang, point, bang. And what is the tiger doing? Fighting the whip and the pole, because he can't attack this one, doesn't realize. Well, the Russians don't realize, but they can't legally, and they don't really want to do it because it's going to be a little bit harder. But do you think that the Russians are not itching of bombing the guy who uses the pole and the whip, which is Ukraine? Yes. So yeah, of course you poke and you hit from the distance, and you say, yeah, the whip and the pole destroyed the tiger. We know who destroyed the tiger is behind. But one day maybe, I hope he doesn't, those guys get sick and they eat the human. As sometimes happens when the tiger realizes, wait a second, it's not the freaking pole, it's not the freaking whip, it's that guy over there. Gonna get it and kill him in a second. So that could happen to Poland, can happen to Germany, can happen to Great Britain. Could be repercussions, yes. But then, when that is, why? Because the tiger eventually is killed by the guys around the cage, right? They're standing with weapons to stop when the tiger realizes that the freaking human is the exactly one and decides to attack. And then the other guys are blowing everything up. The human dies, the tiger dies, we die. So yeah, is that a threat? I think it is. I mean, imagine that if this would be, let's say, released by the Ukrainians. I think we want to have a sex party every day of the week. If the Ukrainians would have such a weapon and Zircon and something like Hypersonic, and would be like, oh my God, or the Americans or any other country that would put this kind of ship on a little tour. We're gonna all sing and play piano and chew and drink the best wine, get the beautiful clothes on, and take the yearly shower and all that. Because look, we're celebrating. That's fun. It's an achievement. Now the Russians will get it. But it's the other way around. Oh, it's actually a sign of weakness, really. And we are supposed to accept that. No, we're not. Right? Right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.